Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome everyone. How is everyone today? As we're waiting, as people are coming in, just go ahead and put your name in the chat, if you will, and just let me know where you're from. Just give me your name and where you're from. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, great, awesome. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. It's a beautiful night. I guess many of you are at different time zones, but some of you are here. Good. We got Noah, Concord. Hi, Althea. Hey, Althea. Welcome, guys. Yes, I do know you. I love it. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. It's good to see some faces I know. Aw, very sweet. Thank you for turning your cameras on. I love to see you. So beautiful, beautiful faces. We're going to talk about drama, woo, and trauma. Isn't that exciting? These topics that need to be talked about. And healing, how we can heal. So let's just let a few more moments here. We're letting people in, putting your name in the chat if you don't mind, and let me know where you're from. Love to know who's here. It's giving me some names, name and where you're from. Do y'all know how to use the chat? Yes. Oh, good. There we are. Kim from Franklin. Hi, Kim. Welcome. Trisha, Marshall. Yay. Hey, Trisha. Cool. It's a beautiful night here in Asheville. It is warm. Can't get over 0 degrees just a little bit ago, and it is lovely, lovely tonight. Hey, Jason. Welcome. Buford. I love it. Georgia. Love it. I love Atlanta. Atlanta's fabulous. So as you're coming in, just putting your name in the chat, and we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a precious hour together, and I'm so grateful that you're here. We may have quite a few more coming in, so we'll just keep paying attention. And we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about some key areas tonight, 3 essential ways to overcome drama and align with our soulful self. Now, trauma feeds drama and drama feeds trauma. So we're going to define those. We're going to go into literally the anatomy of drama. What is drama and how that impacts us if we've had trauma, and then how we can heal and move above that so we can really connect with that aspect of us that truly has our true power and love and joy and all those things that we all long for. So let's dive right in. So this is what we're going to cover. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal healing story for those of you who do not know me. We're going to talk about the soulful self and how this healing is different from traditional therapy. We're going to talk about drama and trauma, right? And the structure of that, how it feeds each other. And then I'm going to share with you these 3 essential keys to overcome, because I have seen these 3 keys work for over 20 years, you guys, and in my own personal life and in the lives of clients. So I'm so happy that you're here for me to, I love talking about this stuff. We're also going to talk about some new powerful ways that I'm going to be offering you if you would like to continue to heal and work on yourself and overcome these patterns. I have a surprise giveaway if you stay until the end that you will be a part of. And then we have time for questions. So if you have questions about this stuff, we will dive right in. How does that sound? Got a thumbs up? Yes, awesome, awesome. Oh, it's so good to see some beautiful faces. Love it. All right, so my healing journey, let me tell you briefly about it. I love to start with this because, you know, my mother used to say I was determined at birth to do things the way I wanted to do them. I was a pretty stubborn child. And, oh yeah, sorry, Mason. I know it's hard. I don't have subtitles. I apologize. And I was stubborn, I was focused, I was determined. And there's some great things to that and not so great things to being stubborn, right? The great things of being stubborn is that sometimes you are determined. You have a determination and that carries you, and that's helpful. Sometimes being stubborn is a reactivity from trauma, and you're not really listening deeply to what's in the best interest of yourself or others. So there's pros and cons to being stubborn, right? But I love this quote by Dr. Carolyn May. She was one of my teachers in my spiritual psychology program. And she said, choice is your greatest power. It is an even greater power than love. because you must first choose to be a loving person. And sometimes we don't choose love. Isn't that true? We get sucked into drama and trauma, right? And we aren't able to find the loving aspects of the self, nor do we want them because we're angry or scared or upset, or maybe we want them and we just can't experience them because of all the drama and trauma. So choice, give yourself a lot of credit for being here and choosing healing. If you're here, that's something that's important to you. So thank you for being here. So in my journey, I had grown up in an addictive family system. My father was addicted to all kinds of things. He was in and out of recovery his whole life. There was a lot of codependency for me and trying to help him and help him heal. Fast forward, there was abuse in my family, and I've worked on healing some of that. And by the time I was in my 20s, my junior year in college, I was having panic attacks every day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was a wreck. And I had an anxiety disorder. So I went to see a psychiatrist because I had to be able to sleep. I didn't want to fail out of school at Chapel Hill. I loved my program in psychology. And the psychiatrist, gave me all these tests, and he looked at me and he said, you have PTSD, panic disorder, and depression and anxiety, la, 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 la. And I'm like, oh, goodness. But he gave me some medication and I thought, great, I'm going to be better. Months and years later, fast forward, I was able to sleep. I got through college. I'm getting my master's in counseling. And I realized I really want to get off this medicine. I'm having this dry mouth. I don't like the side effects of the medicine. I really want to experience what joy and true expansion feels like without this medicine. And so I don't advise this at home. Don't jump off medicine if you're on it. But I decided to learn meditation. So I went to see this lady. She taught me, she said, stare at a candle. Well, I went into her office first and she said, stare at a candle. I want you to focus on this candle and I'll be back in 20 minutes. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But I did it. I'm staring at the candle. She's teaching me meditation. I'd heard that helped with stress. And long story short, I started meditating every day and I was pretty obsessed with it. Well, one day I'd been weaning myself off my medications. I'd been in therapy and I had this moment where all these panic, anxiety symptoms began to return. And I was so devastated. I thought, I've worked too hard for this. I'm too determined. What is going on? And I screamed out, if there's anything out there, please help me. I can't stand this anymore. Well, all of a sudden I had this feeling come over me like a wave of love and peace. And it filled my body. And I thought, what in the world has happened? But I'd never felt that peaceful. I'd never felt that much love. And I knew something new was happening here. And at that moment, when I went on later to get my doctorate in spiritual psychology, I found out that's called a peak experience, you guys, and it's available to us all. So I never had a panic attack again after that. I still had anxiety that I had to deal with, but I'm going to show you these 3 keys on how to move into freedom from these kind of patterns, okay, today. And I wanted you to hear my backstory because I'm telling you this because I wanted to inspire you, regardless of what you're struggling with, there's a way out. You may not know what it is, but I'm going to be teaching you some things tonight to help, okay? So what I do, I teach and train counselors, coaches, and others in spiritual psychology, overcoming trauma, overcoming anxiety patterns, overcoming abuse, lots of different things that I do trainings in. I've had the honor to work with amazing people and be on their coaching team, like Dr. Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He's a wonderful psychologist, and I've been blessed to be around some amazing people. I also have been blessed to be awarded Best Therapist in my area several times in a row, and I've written several books. So this is what I do. I create stuff. And as I began to heal, I became more creative and was able to access that and help other people with it. So what is the soulful self? I want to define this gently, okay? We're going to hold a big wide range for this because this feels different for different people. But I love to call it your higher power. I grew up in the recovery rooms going to Al-Anon, and I love this quote. It says, sometimes the soul is saying to you, there's something that needs tending to. That kind of nurturing, that gentle nudging. The soul will never ever force you to do anything, but it gives you a gentle nudging. It will continue to nudge you through your discontent and through the things that you're longing for. Okay, folks, so your discontent and your longings, the soul will talk and speak to you in those kind of heartfelt, deeper ways. And so in my training, what I found out is there's a subconscious mind where we hold a lot of our trauma and drama, which can be the body. The body helps us with that. There's our conscious mind, which is what we know a little bit about, right? This is where we stay most of the time. And then there's in my training what they call the superconscious, which is the aspect of the self that some call the soul or your higher power. And in my training, we can become more whole by engaging on all three of these levels. And as we become more whole, we're able to access the full mosaic of who we are. Now, the thing about drama and trauma is when we have drama or trauma, we split off from these things. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, right? When you've had trauma and drama, you split off from the joy. You can't experience it as much. You split off from the love. You don't have self-love the same way, or you're not able to access unconditional love. You're hard, you're critical on yourself. Maybe you're in some kind of addictive behavior, or you're having some kind of shame and fear that's paralyzing you. We can't access our wisdom, and we can't access that kind of sixth sense of intuition when we're so out of alignment with this aspect of the self. And so drama and trauma are the two #1 ways we get out of alignment with the soulful self. So let's dive in and talk about that. So spiritual psychology also is different in that it's a whole person healing, as I said. They used to say it like this. When the psychologist wrote in his book about spiritual psychology, he said, regular counseling thins the clouds, meaning helps the thinking and the emotions, but spiritual psychology opens us up to something larger than ourselves, and we're able to connect to that, and that's a wonderful thing. And, you know, you can debate that on many levels, what that could be, but let's just open and be curious about it. So how do I define drama and trauma? Well, since we're adults now, right, we do have the power of choice. However, when we're in drama and trauma, we don't always feel that choice point. We may feel like we're in a vortex of fear. We may feel like we're in shame or in that criticism. We're just shrinking down and we're not feeling like ourselves. And so drama becomes a way that we disempower ourselves, so we really don't get what we really want and need, okay? We don't. And trauma, we can't even get to the deeper trauma when we're in the drama. It's like a crazy, you guys know what I'm talking about, don't you? You've had this experience. And so when we want to get to that deeper trauma, those are those survival patterns that have kept us alive, and we want to thank them. But they block the flow of our next best self. They block it at some point. They act like a dam in the eddy, and then you just get sucked into this thing and you can't get out. And so that's what I want to help you guys do, is move beyond these patterns so you can really experience your fullest self. So how does drama and trauma show up for you? Put a little bit of idea in the chat for me, will you? How does it show up for you? Let's see. We've talked a little bit about what that looks like. Hi, Emily from Durham. Welcome. Oh, and JJ from Tybee. Welcome, welcome. Wonderful. How does drama show up for you? Is it fear? Is it arguing? Is it getting down on yourself? You know, drama triangle, negative self-talk. Yes. Stubbornness. You've got that one too, huh? I got you. Victim. Yes. We get stuck in feeling victimized. That's a stage of healing. And we want to know how to get beyond that, don't we? Noah says trauma or drama. Either one, Noah. How does that show up for you? Trauma or drama? I think it's when I make a mistake, afterwards, I shame myself. Yes, that kind of real inner critic that just watches us like a hawk, but not a friendly hawk, right? And analyzes and picks on us. Yeah. Heartache and your chest feels stupid and my actions, and ruminate. Oh, I know that one. Boy, just that ruminating. The mind is trying to help us, but we can't get out of the trauma through our head. And we start to ruminate, and it almost feels like we're blowing smoke, doesn't it? Because the brain is just obsessing so much. Noah says panic attacks. Yes. Oh, how miserable. Yes, Noah, I know that well. And okay, got it. Thank you for sharing that. So there's lots of ways that drama and trauma shows up, aren't there? So these can be some other signs and symptoms. Some of y'all mentioned these, and these can be some other signs. Feeling like you're having the same experience over and over and you keep expecting different results. I had a client describe it one time like running up a hill of ice. You just can't get traction when you're in these patterns. You just feel like you're just, right, rolling down a hill. You can't get where you want to be, and it feels very powerless. Restlessness and anxiety, another way our soulful self is trying to break through into our expression and into our expansion, but we have a hard time. And so we're struggling. And so we may have toxic stress, sleep issues, trouble relaxing, worry. Anybody have worry? Yeah. Perfectionism, need for constant input, distraction. It's a mess, isn't it? Depression, apathy, like I want to just give up. Did you know that I've just learned recently, and I've known this for a while, but it was a good reminder that in depression, the amygdala, which is that part that really overreacts in anxiety, when we're depressed, we have an overactive amygdala as well. So that overactive amygdala is exhausting. It's just exhausts our system. And that's trauma and drama, that overreactive fight, flight, freeze, trauma system that's supposed to be there for an emergency, but it's just continuing to overact. And so maybe numbness, low energy, shut down, you've lost your passion. You know, I love that quote, passion is the pipeline to the soul. And so when we are depressed, we lose that passion, we lose that pipeline. And then unhealthy relationship patterns, people pleasing, feeling unseen, on and on and on. Victimization, someone said, right? Caretaking. You know, I just did a session with a client today whose main drama was rescuing and caretaking everyone else. And that was the first go-to they went to, and they would lose themselves. I heard a great definition of that. It says, I feel inside how you see me. Now, that may not be the best thing, might it? Depending on who you're hanging out with, right? We want to have a sense of ourselves separate from that. And so when we're caretaking or rescuing, we are trying to pull someone up and out, and they may not even want our help. Feeling disconnected from support, abandoned, or lonely can be other signs of symptoms of trauma and drama. With trauma, there's usually been some kind of abandonment. Body aches and pain, headaches, tightness, tension, heart palpitations, that can be signs of drama and trauma in the body. And then, of course, we know addictions and compulsive behavior, food, people, alcohol, adrenaline, on and on and on and on. So that really takes us away from being able to feel ourselves and sense what's the next best move. All right. So these are some signs and symptoms. Y'all recognize any of these? I know I do. So Brene Brown says it like this: stress is being in the weeds. Overwhelmed is being blown. You're just, and I even read this another way, blown out of the weeds. It's like you're just in blowout, right? When I was in having my breakthrough, I was just in blowout. And we are also overcome and overpowered by thought and feeling. That can be a sign of overwhelm and this trauma reaction. Other stress symptoms are on this list. I just wanted to throw them out there. Jealousy, which ones have we not said? Diminished initiative, crying outburst, right? Inability to cry, tightness in the neck and back. Did you know sneezing can be a stress symptom? I didn't know that. Teeth grinding. Our nervous system gets whacked out with all kind of issues and behavioral issues as well. So there's all kind of symptoms of stress and then overwhelm, which could be related to trauma and drama. I'm recording this, by the way, so y'all don't have to get all this. Okay, I'll be sending the recording out tomorrow. So what we know about trauma is in the adverse childhood experiences. If you haven't heard of this, it is a wonderful study that they did over years, studying people that had a history of trauma. And they found that if you had a trauma before the age of 18 or multiple traumas, where there's ongoing struggle to feel safe, security, trust, or the sense of self is violated or threatened, that this could cause significant damage later in terms of your health. And so there's good news. So don't worry, I'm not trying to depress you, but just follow along here. And those that, if there's a buffered, caring adult or a supportive environment, that can be a buffer. So that can help some of the ongoing overwhelm that the toxic stress can cause. And if there's not that, it can impact the child's brain and body and have a negative ripple effect on our whole longevity. So if you want to read more about this, you can go to yournumberstory.org. It's got a lot of science there describing this. These were the 10 original ACEs. There's many, many more. But the 10 original traumas that they studied were physical, emotional, sexual abuse, physical and emotional neglect. And that one's sometimes sneakier to catch, you guys, because neglect just looks like a void. We're just not getting it. And that can be even more traumatic than abuse sometimes. Abuse is more obvious, right? Sometimes. I mean, sometimes we don't know we're being abused. And then we realize later, oh my gosh, that was abuse, right? And then household challenges, divorce, jail, substance use, domestic violence, mental illness, a caregiver, a parent dying early, chronic illness, that can be trauma, racism, sexism, lots of different things that can cause trauma over time. So I just wanted you to have a sense of that. Should have answered this. Oh, it was like, okay, I'm scared. Don't worry, no, I'm not scaring you. We're getting to solution. So the connection between ACE and our health is toxic stress changes our body. And the effects of these ACEs are cumulative. If you have a score of 3 or more of these, this is where you really need to take your health seriously, right? 3 or below, usually the system can manage it and work through it. But 3 or more of these toxic stressors as a child and even as an adult, we have a higher need of self-care, a higher need for truly learning how to heal so that we can overcome and not have long-term consequences such as chronic health issues, chronic mental health issues, et cetera, et cetera. So I just have mentioned this, but when we don't deal with the toxic stress, it can disrupt our brain. We can have health, behavioral issues, neurological, metabolic, immune, endocrine system issues, on and on and on. Because what happens is the trauma, the amygdala in the back, gets in a on state. It stays stuck on, and it can't let go. It cannot let go. So when that trauma state is stuck on, then it is totally damaging the system. And I even did a webinar with a chiropractor one time. He was talking about, he gives all his people this diet and exercise plan. They do all this diet and exercise change. They still don't heal. And it's because they haven't healed their trauma. And so that's why healing trauma is so, so important, because this stuck on thing is taking energy every day. And we'll see how this looks. So how does toxic stress show up for you? I know you guys have shared some of this with me. You can just reflect on this if you don't want to put more in the chat, but just reflecting on how has that become a part of your story? And what part of that story would you like to move beyond? Just asking you a question to reflect on in your heart. What part of that story would you like to unplug, overcome, and move beyond? Really want you to reflect on that right now, because we can move beyond our story of trauma and drama and into a new story. We can create a new chapter, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm checking the chat. Thanks, Noah. So let's talk about drama, the white bread of trauma. This actually looks like multi-grain bread, but we'll go with it. It looks healthier than white bread. Why is drama the white bread of trauma? Drama feeds the adrenaline, and adrenaline is addictive. So what we know about drama is that when we've lived in chaos or crisis or have ongoing trauma and inside our brain, body, heart connection, the adrenaline of that is addictive. It literally is addictive. So, hey, let's say if you've grown up in chaos or you have chaos in your life, get your adrenaline out in a good way. Go climb a mountain or go jump out of a plane or something, right? But let's not get it out with toxic relationships or negative self-talk or horrible habits, right? Let's not live in that, because that just is going to feed the history that we've lived through. And we want better for you than that. So let's go see how this looks. I'm going to show you the anatomy of drama. So when we have drama, it zaps our strength, it zaps our power, it exhausts us. This high level of adrenaline, this toxic stress breaks down the body. And so as you may notice, the stress feeds off of the trauma. And I'll explain this a little bit more. And science has also shown us it creates inflammation in the body. So we don't want inflammation. We don't want more inflammation in the body. We have enough toxins to fight off during our day-to-day, right? So we want to heal this trauma. We want to heal this drama. So this is how drama looks. And some of you who are counselors may have seen this diagram before, but you may not have seen this whole diagram. This is how it looks in our lives. And these are the three, let's go on the triangle. The triangle is the drama piece. This circle that you see is where we step off of the drama. So when we've lived in trauma, if we're in fight, flight, freeze, we get into drama as a way to try to solve it. And this is how it looks: persecuting. I am right, you are wrong. That may be true, but we don't want to stay stuck there, okay? Get them before they get me, right? I have the answers, you don't. I'm criticizing, blaming, bullying, or maybe someone's doing that to you. Aggression, picking on others. I have the right to, you have to do this. Domineering. This is the domineering side of drama. And you may not play this role. That may not be your go-to, but some people's go-to is the dominating drama, right? I'm going to dominate you. And that's very scary when that's happening. Rescuing. This may be your favorite drama triangle corner. Fixing, giving solutions, acting as a go-between for people, having to hold it all together for the world, having to hold it all together for your family or your workplace or your friends. Exhausting. Self-denying is a quality of this, creates dependency because we're not tracking our feelings. We're focusing on the external locus of control as opposed to the internal feelings that we can control. And it has an other focus. All the studies show us around an other focus, when we have too much of an other focus and trying to control the outside in, we have more depression and anxiety. When we have a more inward focus of control, we have less depression and anxiety. It's because that's what we can control, right? And so when we get lost in rescuing, we feel obligations to that are draining and straining. We are lost in drama. We feel overly responsible for the world in this rescuer place. And then victiming. Victiming, poor me, why me? I have no choices. If you're ever in a place where you say, I have no choices, that's your trauma brain talking. Self-focusing, fear-oriented, and complaining. We've all been here. We've all done the victiming, I'm sure, at some point. And so just notice how drama feeds. Anytime we're in blame, shame, we may be beating ourselves up. That may be how we do drama. It may be our inner drama triangle. Regrets, excuses, what's wrong with me, nitpicking, how can I find it? If I could be better, this would change, on and on and on. And that's painful. So to move out of this in the world, and I've used this graph with tons of different couples, mother-daughters, workplace issues, people. These are some just physical steps we can take to move out of drama in the outer world. Okay, guys? So instead of persecuting, right, or rescuing or victiming, let's talk about some of these other options. I had one client hang this on her refrigerator. She said, every time I get on the phone with my mom, I go into the drama triangle and we're in this, right? She feels victimized by her, or she's trying to rescue her, or she's feeling persecuted. Anyway, it's this constant duck and dash and dodge move she's having to do, right? And I gave her this diagram. She put it on her fridge. She literally read it and would speak back to her mom from these other options. And it stopped some of the drama. It was crazy because she was being different. It changed the other person on the other side. Now, that doesn't always happen. There's not always a willing person on the other side that wants to change. They may want to continue to stir the drama, but you, my friend, can step into strength. And this is where your strength lies, the circle of strength. So in this circle of strength, we have setting boundaries. I'm okay with this part. I'm not okay with this part. Following what you believe, what is on your heart to believe. You're assertive. You're not aggressive or passive. Sometimes we get passive or aggressive in trauma. But instead of that, we're just being assertive. This is how I feel. This is my opinion. This is my preference. This is what I want and believe versus what you're doing wrong, because that feeds more drama, doesn't it? You're doing this wrong, or something's wrong. This is what I want and believe. I remember one time I was in an argument with my husband and there was a little drama going on. And I was getting into this kind of persecutory role. And I thought, whoa, 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 he's not hearing me. I'm just shutting him down. And I knew his mother was that way. She was very persecutory to him. And I pulled back and I thought, I've got to step into this, another way of talking about this. And I said, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I believe. And he still wasn't able to hear it at the time because he was too triggered. But I wrote it on a piece of paper and I handed it to him and he read it later and he was able to actually take it in. And we were able to actually connect and communicate and get out of the drama and really, really find a way, a place of strength where we could see each other. And we came right out of the drama triangle and it was a beautiful thing. So sometimes it takes space, guys, but use these tools and keep using them and they will help you. Another one is facilitating, negotiating. How would you want things to be, right? Only part of this is my responsibility. I know some of you on here, and I know some of you are really good at this, but just know this is another way to navigate drama. Another way, collaborating. We have shared responsibility, right? Because when there's blame and shame, or we're taking on too much, or they're not, or we're upset and there's not a good balance or harmony, we got to find that win-win. We got to find that shared space, right? To stand in together and find the strength of each person. Okay, I'm good at this, you're good at this. How can we find a win-win? Clearly, I'm not as good at that as you. You're better at this. Find that synergy. That will take you into strength as opposed to blame and shame and regrets and excuses. Now, if someone's still in their excuses or they're in their victim or they're feeling all this, you may be the only one doing the collaborating. And maybe you have to do like I did. Maybe you have to write it down and hand it to them and hope that they'll come back and collaborate and find a win-win. But keep it up. Keep up your part in the bargain, right? And step out of it and move into strength for you. You'll at least feel good about where you'll come from. And then cooperating. Here we are, the win-win. Agreeing, accepting. I understand that you feel that way. That's not where I am, but maybe that's where you are, and that's okay. Being flexible. You know, the drama is really hard. It's hard. It's black and white. It's tight. It's right. It's like a puffer fish, or it's like a disappearing act, right? It can go either way. But cooperating, we're deeply listening, we're curious, we're open and available. And if we're in our trauma, we can't find it, can we? We can't find that open heart and that available space inside. So just know that this could be challenging, but that as we are able to heal and open our heart and become curious, you know, I was even able to say something to someone that I've had some on and off conflicts with for years. And I was able to actually say something to them that I hadn't been able to say in a long time. And it was, I understand how you could feel that way, instead of making them bad or wrong. And it felt so freeing. It felt so good to be able to be in a loving space. And because it frees us, right? It frees the cells of our body for something new. When we're in a resentful space or in drama, we're tightened down. The cells of our body are not, there's resentment sometimes, or there's pain, and we want to be free. We want to be free. So yay for freedom, right? Okay. Any questions on this? This is a whole day, week training, but I just wonder if there's any questions on this before I move on to the 3 essential keys and to more about drama and trauma. Any more questions? Any questions on this diagram? All right. You guys are a good learning crowd. Oh, we may have one here. Good. Oh, let me get my cursor to the chats. Yes, please ask a question. You're welcome. Oh, here's one. How do you negotiate with someone when you are speaking to their pain and not them? And the pain may not hear you very well. Well said. So that example I gave of my husband earlier, and he's not always the one that can't hear. Sometimes I can't hear as well. But the example I gave earlier was he couldn't hear, right? And so I had to write it down and give it to him. Because if we're overloaded in our emotional body, we're sometimes not able to hear. So it may be that I hear that you're feeling this way, and clearly we need to take a moment of space And then those emotions are going to have to be calmed down before we can address and really find that win-win again. I used to work with this guy that had an anger problem, and he would write down all his anger on a piece of paper, and then he would come back and talk to his spouse, or he would write down all the complaints he had, and then he would go and try to negotiate something at work. So it really is a matter of self-regulation, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what that looks like. Marcel says, can you explain the domineering part? Why or what does that look like? Yes, that's the fight of drama. Some people go into fight and domination when they're scared or they're in their trauma. And so, for example, let's say you said to me, I don't like it when you come in my house like that and go in my refrigerator and take something. And I'm going to say, well, I'm sorry, I'm right and you're wrong, and I deserve to have that. I was thirsty and tough. Right? That's domineering, isn't it? I'm not hearing you, one, right? And you're not able to, we don't have a win-win there. I'm dominating the conversation. I'm taking over. Does that make more sense? Or let's say you say to someone, I would prefer not to go out to eat tonight. I'm just giving small examples, right? There's a lot more major examples, but I prefer not to go out to eat tonight because I have a stomachache and I'm just going to eat at home. No, you have to go out to eat. We agreed on this, and you have to do this. It is not okay if you don't. And I'm going to be furious and never go on date night with you again if you don't go out to eat with me tonight, or whatever. Do you hear the domineeringness in that? That's drama. It's domineering behavior. It's rigid. It's not considering the other person's feelings, and it's just flat out not okay. It's drama. It's trauma, and it's painful. Does that make sense? Let me see. Yeah, you got it, girl. All right. Thank you for that question. Good question. Because you may lean more towards rescuer or victim, right? But persecuting is no bueno, no fun at all. All right, let's move to the next slide. So let's go into our 3 essential P's. How can we overcome drama and trauma? Because I guarantee you, it is the #1 reason that we all suffer, that anyone suffers. It's drama and trauma. And there are painful things that happen right in the world. And what we want to do is be able to have the tools and skills to self-regulate, move through them, get help from a higher power, and move forward in our lives, because we have to learn those skills. Else we get stuck in the drama triangle, or we get stuck in our trauma. And that is just a powerless, awful place to stay. So our #1 key I want to talk to you about tonight is we need to learn how to go from being reactive to responsive. Now, what's in that word? What's in the word responsive to you? Reactive, right? Reactive is fight, flight, drama. What's responsive? What does that even sound like? Can you guys give me some thoughts on that? Responsive. What would that feel or look like? We know reactive. We just went over it, right? Reactive's more like, oh, you hurt me. I'm gonna make them. Or oh, I'm gonna save you, and I've got the answer for you. Or domineering. What's responsive? What does that even look like? Okay. I see you. Beautiful. Avatar got that one right, didn't it? I see you. Yes. Engaged, listening. Beautiful. It's responsible, isn't it? It's literally response-able. You're response-able. Responsive, another word needed back in English language, like discernment. Beautiful. We are using discernment as opposed to just saying anything that comes front of mind. Love that. Thank you for that. Excellent point. So as we're being responsive, we are being response-able. And that takes us out of the drama triangle and into the circle of strength. If we may be reacting inside super loud, but if we can stand in that and breathe through that and work with that and come from a more responsive place, I guarantee you it will change the outcome, especially for you, and hopefully for those around you. And we build new circuits. And what are the circuits for? They're to engage with our most peaceful, joyful, soulful self, our highest self. Because then we don't get mad at ourselves on top of it all because we've done something and been some way we didn't even like. right? When we're in drama, we are reacting and and we lose our cool, we lose our temper, we lose our, we feel victimized. We're not able to stand in our strength. And then the other person, where do they do with that? There's nowhere to go with it. There's nowhere to go. So if we can be grounded like a tree in our responsiveness, in our strength, we are able to change the dynamics around us, and we're able to feel better about us, and then move into another level of being. So let's talk about this more. Beautiful, guys. I love that. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just say, just get over it and respond. Don't react. It's not always that simple, is it? And the reason we don't do that is because sometimes we don't have access to our strength and our whole self. We don't have access to that. Sometimes we're reacting from an unmet need in the past. Dr. Abraham Maslow, who's a psychologist, he used to call that our deficiency motivation. We're reacting from deficiency instead of wholeness. And we all do it. We all do it. That's part of evolving. That's part of evolving, is noticing where our deficiencies lie. And they call it the 12 steps, our character defects, right? Or whatever. And where we lose our power. Where do we lose it? Where do we lose that sense of self? And then noticing and healing that space, that reactivity. Another reason we don't do it so easily, we get focused on what we cannot control, an external focus of control. And then there we splatter. You know, I always say we go horizontal instead of vertical. And when we go vertical, connecting with something larger than ourselves, we're able to find that alignment more. We're able to find that soothing more. When we go vertical too much, we scatter, we lose ourselves, we splatter. We get sucked into triggers, other people's stuff. We've all done that, right? There's something painful that keeps us stuck in a survival trap and from our past. There may be an unhealthy environment that's toxic and we can't find that best self. That's why we don't do it, because we're in this unhealthy space. I was just telling a client today, if we do all this healing work and then we run right back into an unhealthy environment, we can lose some of our healing if we're in that environment for too long. So we really have to notice and be in healthy environments as much as possible to protect our healing. Not in a scared way, but just in a way of self-love. And we also can't heal from just our conscious mind. We have to be able to get to that subconscious that we talked about earlier, and that more higher power to set ourselves free. If y'all want more help on this, I made a free quiz called your 7 Survival Traps, and I'll send you a free ebook. If you want to take that free quiz, it has it has your #1 survival trap where you get lost in drama and trauma. And then it gives you a whole graph of ways out of that. This is the website for that if you want it, 7survivaltraps.com. So another way that we can respond instead of react, as I've mentioned earlier, keeping an internal locus of control. We question, why do others not love me? How can I avoid failing? Do I have enough information I'm certain? How have others failed me? Can I trust another person? Why has this person failed me? Do you hear those questions? They're all out there. And how do we bring them in? How do I love myself? How do I deal with failure? Have I sought enough information so I can be responsible? Am I failing myself and failing my loved ones? How can I love myself, right? What's the most loving thing I can do for me in a healthy way, right? Can I trust myself? Have I failed myself? These are the internal focus questions that we want to change and grow into. Because when we're asking those questions out there, we are just on a slippery slope, losing that center, and we will find ourselves in the drama triangle right away, feeding our old trauma. Key number 2, embody your real intrinsic need. So after we learn and discover how to not react as strongly and respond better, and that's an ongoing process, right? We're evolving all the time if we want to. Then we learn how to bring in the real need. What's our real need? If I'm not going to do drama, well, what am I going to do? What's the real need? And so let's talk about some of our real needs. If we're feeling out of balance, out of harmony, what are those real needs? Let me make sure I don't have something to. Yes, I will read that. I'll read your thing in just a minute, Mason. Thank you for that. So what are intrinsic needs? In my training, intrinsic needs are the need that we needed met that did not get met from our past. So let's say we grew up in a chaotic situation where we did not feel safe to just play and find ourselves and enjoy our lives and learn about responsibility a healthy way and learn how to communicate with others in a healthy way and be in a healthy environment. Let's say we didn't grow up in them, right? Many of us didn't. We needed safety. We needed connection, healthy connection. We needed healthy needs. So let's look at these intrinsic needs. What are they? You know, I always like to call our inner needs, and this is my daughter and I. And believe me, I dropped the ball on some of her needs. There was not everything. I couldn't control all her needs. You know, she's going to be 18, and there's gaps I missed, and I trained in all this stuff, right? So don't be hard on yourself if you have your gaps. It's part of the process. But what your inner child deeply needed, that's your intrinsic need. Or what your inner adult deeply needs, right? Your deepest self, that's your intrinsic need. So let's look at some of these needs. That was my daughter and I getting our need for adventure and play on the zip line. So here's some of your real needs, guys. And just think about any trauma or drama you've been through. And then I want you to look at the real deeper needs underlying that drama. If we're not doing drama and we're trying to heal trauma, what if we're embodying our inner need? What if we're bringing that in? And so that could be love, right? That could be connection, healthy connection. That could be courage. Maybe I just need the courage to go through this fire walk and stand in my best self. Maybe I need to embody trust because I had so much fear in my life that I don't really know how to embody trust. And that's a quality of the highest self in you. What about joy? Maybe I just need to know that I can have joy even in tough times. And joy is my natural it's my birthright. What about empowerment, aliveness, positive control, not controlling the things we can't control, controlling the things we can control. Do that, right? Make those healthy choices from a place of self-love instead of just pushing yourself in a hard way. Make those things out of devotion and love, right? Positive control, support. Maybe we need to get support. Freedom. Maybe we need freedom. Peace. Oh my goodness, do we all need more peace, right? Even just, from any normal day, we need times of peace. I don't know if y'all seen that study where they take someone that has heart disease and they put them in the woods for 6 months and it's so quiet out there. And within 6 months, their heart disease is almost completely gone. It's just so peaceful, right? Confidence. We need confidence. And we don't always have that. Clarity, power, nurturing, healthy touch. Oh my goodness, we've been so isolated over the years. Healthy touch, pleasure. What brings you pleasure? Do you like to color? I used to have this box for my inner child in my old house, and I would go pull out coloring books and color and play and draw and do what my inner child wanted to do. It was so much fun. When I was bored, I used to say, people are never bored. It's just your imagination calling to you. If you're bored, see what your imagination wants and let your imagination run with you in a healthy way. That's childhood all over again. Security. Maybe you need security. Maybe you need rituals and routines that give you security, or finances that give you security, right? Positivity. Maybe we just are not looking at things in a positive way. And people who have a more positive outlook tend to get healthier. They just do. Fun, relaxation. What do you do for relaxation? Rest, safety. We need to feel safe, instead of putting ourselves in situations over and over again. I used to work at the homeless shelter, and I worked there for several years. And when I became pregnant with my daughter, I didn't feel safe there anymore. And that may have been irrational. It may not have been, but there was a lot of drama down there. People showing up fighting over something or this or that, or drama or trauma. And I just really didn't want to be around that chaos. And I ended up leaving there and going to do more private practice because I needed to feel safer in my body. Pregnancy was a big enough uncertainty than dealing with all of that drama. Discipline. Maybe we need discipline. And again, I encourage you to have discipline with devotion instead of that hard discipline on you, right? And then self-love. So just notice which of these real needs do you lean into? What are those intrinsic needs that you really need today? And take note of those and know that you can embody those needs and bring those into you in a really healthy way. As we align with these needs that we didn't get, that we need now, and become more whole, we feel that strength. See those arms connected? We start feeling that way inside, you guys. We start feeling that sense of strength inside. We're like, oh yeah, I'm wired together much more strongly now. I feel less hopeless or helpless or victimized or angry or under attack or unsafe or whatever. I feel more solid and here in my body and healthy. And it feels really, really, really good. And then third essential way to move beyond drama and trauma, wake up and align with this higher self, this soulful self, the higher power, whatever you call that. It is a game changer. It's a game changer because as we open to something bigger than us, it may even be in psychology, they call it the highest self. In spiritual traditions, they call it God. Opening in 12 steps, higher power, whatever that is for you, there's something out there that is there for your good. And it's there to help you. And when we've had trauma, we forget that. We don't believe that. We feel alone, we feel lost, we feel disconnected. And if we can remember and stay connected to that higher sense of self, we will flourish and we will feel guidance when needed, and we will feel uplifted, and we can feel this sense of strength. These are the qualities in my training that how the soul shows up for us. Instead of trauma and drama, we feel strong. Instead of trauma and drama, we feel freer. We feel more creative. And I'm not talking drawing and painting even, that could be, but we feel creative impulses to, oh, maybe I want to become a builder. Oh, maybe I want to take this class. Oh, maybe I want to try this new thing. Maybe I haven't been roller skating in years. Maybe I want to do that. We're just more creative as people, right? We're less flat and flatlined. We're more alive. The soul has qualities of positive control, meaning where in this can I make an influence? Can I make a difference? You know, I was going through the checkout line the other day at Here's Teeter, and I'm buying all this food. This was for a Christmas dinner. And the guy says to me, we start philosophizing. Lord knows the conversations that I have with people. Well, we start philosophizing about life. And I said, are you about to get off work? And he said, yeah. And he was talking about, and I said, yeah, I'm so excited, this and that. And somehow we started talking about, you know, the nature of the world and how there's all this crazy stuff going on. And he was like, yeah, we just kind of have to suck it up and deal with it. There's nothing we can do about it. So then I started talking out. I said, well, do you feel like you can have influence? You know, where do you feel like you can make some change for you? He said, oh, we don't. We just kind of live and then we die. And there's not really any change I can make much in the world. I just show up to work and then go to bed. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's apathy, right? That's apathy. And where can we have positive control? We have influence. And so finding that space, because what that does is it gives us a sense of purpose. And purpose is passion, and passion is a pipeline to the soul, guys. So to find that purpose, right? And then connection. The soul has connection. It has a sense of connection that's beyond something that we may have ever even experienced. It also has acceptance, and it has reciprocal love, not just forcing love on someone or not just trying to despairingly pull it towards you from someone. It has this love that feels more give and take and more playful and more of a win-win. And unconditional peace, trust, love, and joy. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful thing to know that these are aspects that we can grow into? That we can have in our lives every day. We can have a connection to. Any questions on this? Let's see a question. Mason says, blaming ourselves, putting down to prevent others from doing, saying that, believing we don't deserve forgiveness, being able to detach. Is there a difference between a big mistake and a simple human mistake we might all make? Oh, okay. Of course, right? I'm sure there's a difference. Is that what you mean? I'm sure there's a difference in a big mistake and small mistakes. Yeah, like I mean, I'm not the moral monitor here, but I'm thinking there are things that are larger that feel more painful, and there are things that are smaller that feel less painful, right? And so, but we can't always control what happens to us. What we can control is how we respond. See, there's key number one, how we respond. Life's happening. We don't sometimes know why or how, right? Maybe all this will come to be and we will stop competing pain. Yes, yes, yes. We don't want to, well, pain is part of life, isn't it? But what we do with the pain, those are the keys to our freedom. And sometimes we can't control what's coming at us or what's happening in our lives or what the challenges are that we're given. But what we make of them is really where we have positive control. And that's the quality of the soul. It's like turning manure into a beautiful flower, right? Turning something awful in our lives into something amazing. And we don't even know how. Sometimes we don't know how. And so that's where we stay open. Thinking leaving my glasses, which is small. Leaving your glasses is something small, right? Something happens because we're not being safe and someone gets hurt, which is big. Yes, yes. So sometimes if somebody gets hurt or there's some trauma or drama, that feels bigger versus I leave my glasses at home and I can't see my paper. That, could be big. We might take the wrong pills or something. We don't want to do that, but that could also be very small, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're all going to be hit with big T traumas and small T traumas in our life. We're all going to be hit with that. There's no way around it. And how we navigate that is really our key to moving out of those. So I love this definition of healing. It's our relationship to what is, not what is. That's the problem and the solution. I know those of you who have been on webinars with me before have heard me say this a bazillion times, but it's our relationship to what's happening, not what's happening, is where we step into that strength and we step into our more soulful self instead of the drama. Okay, does that make sense? How we're relating to it and loving ourselves no matter where we are. If we're in the drama, it's okay, but we love ourselves through it and help us get to the strength so that we can have a connection with something better. So like a case study I was going to share, Sarah feels undeserving. She feels like she deserves to be punished. She feels like a horrible person. She's in this spiral of shame. And so as I work with her, we teach her self-love, right? We bring that self-love into her being. And as she's able to access that self-love more, her heart opens up. She's more creative. She feels more support from within. And she's able to step into a more dreamy life. Because how can you have a dreamy life when you feel you deserve to be punished more than you deserve to enjoy your life? And that's the case of some of us after trauma, isn't it? We don't even deserve any better because we see ourselves from a trauma lens. And so I do this all the time in my webinars, but I'll do it with y'all. When we're under trauma, we can't see our soulful self. We're like this as we heal from trauma. Bingo, here we come. Hi. Woo, there we are. We begin to really see the truth of who we are. I was just reading Michelle Obama's new book, and one of the things she said, I thought she was told a story about this guy who was this governor, and he wakes up every morning and he looks at himself in the mirror and he says to himself, "Hey, buddy." And I thought that was the cutest story. He goes, "Hey, buddy." And I thought, wow, what a kind way to wake up to yourself. Look in the mirror, look in your eyes, say to yourself, "Hey, buddy." And that's not like, "Hey, you're the greatest thing ever. Look how beautiful you are." And it's not like, "Hey, you suck. You don't deserve to live." It's not that. It's just, "Hey, buddy." It's kind. It's sweet. And so try it sometime. I thought it was really sweet. Look at yourself, look at your eyes, look at yourself in the mirror and go, "Hey, buddy." You know, it's a really kind way to wake up to you and be in the world. Hey, buddy, include yourself, right? Hey, buddy. And then Brad, you know, he came to me with a history of sexual trauma and abuse. That's not his real name, by the way. That's why I have that in quotes. He felt powerless. He didn't know what he wanted and needed. He was afraid to date because he was afraid that his trauma would get in the way of his dating life. And he was really scared. And so as we worked to help him feel more safe and really see himself for who he is now, he was able to really feel like, oh my gosh, I'm really a really great guy. This happened to me, and I am going to forgive, and I'm going to move forward, and I am strong, and I deserve to have these things. He helped move through his fear, and he began to feel more powerful in the world. He went back to school, and he started dating, and he started traveling. He was actually too scared to travel. And so these were freedoms. These are his soulful self coming on board, coming online to help him. And he started to live. And it was a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. So when we align with our soulful self, we feel lighter and freer. You may know that feeling when you've had these moments where you've had a change in perception and the light bulb comes on and you just feel something's let go. You feel more powerful, creative, and loving. Like you can find that place, like I was talking about, hey, buddy, or you can find that place that's more loving, like I can see how you would feel that way, even if I don't agree, right? You can influence your destiny, meaning you get to be you and go where your inner inspirations carry you. You're trusting in the flow, right? There is a you evolving. You know, I like to think of it like a seed, and you're growing and blooming into this tree of you. And it's nudging you. It wants you to grow. And there's a reason that you're growing in that way, right? And we may not understand it till we get there. You have peace. You can access self-soothing. You can feel love around you and within you. You feel the higher power or the support of the universe is more obvious. Like you see more synchronicities, like things happen that are like, oh, wow, cool. That was neat. Or, oh, I was just thinking about that and that person called. Oh, I really needed to hear that today. And I put that prayer out this morning and look what came to me. Beautiful synchronicities began. You feel more unstoppable. Like I've got this. I can handle this regardless, you know, of how hard it is. I can handle it. Because when we're in trauma, we feel like I can't handle it. Let me crawl under the covers. And we may have moments like that, right? That's okay. But then get back out from under the covers and let's move. Let's do it, right? And become the ticket, right? I was talking to this guy and he said he had a suicidal moment when he was in college, and he was thinking about jumping off something, and he said to himself, you know what? I really don't want to die. I really want to be here, as miserable as I feel. And it was this major breakthrough, and it was so cool, right? He had this shift in perception, and he moved forward, and then lo and behold, he started dating this lovely person. Things started getting better and better and better and better and better. So we become a ticket to our freedom and success as we continue to align and continue to choose these things. And then we can feel more joy, aliveness, passion. It feels great. It feels great. Now, what I know, though, is sustaining this alignment is the hardest part, right? And that can be hard for all of us. So how do we sustain it? What are the habits and the rituals and the routines we have to sustain this sense of self? If we're in trauma and drama, we split off, as I said, from the whole self. We split off and we feel like, oh my gosh, it's like clouds over the sun. When am I ever going to get that sunshine back? Help, right? Maya Angelou wrote about this. She said, when things got bad, her soul just crawled up behind her heart and went to sleep. We hide out from that more alive part of us. We get into survival patterns and reactive mode, and we just live life slogging along from those patterns. But there's more to us than that. And so as we reawaken, right, the soul of sorts, and step back into it and remember, we become more awake. The soul is less asleep. One of my teachers, Kendall May, said this: it's a rare person who can pierce the veil between ordinary life, consumed with these matters, right, of physical survival, pursuit of all this stuff, and pursue an empowered path of purpose and meaning unless we're motivated by crisis. Y'all know that? It's like a crisis. Oh my God, now I'm going to dig deep. And that's okay. That's great. Most people require that, but we also can choose to evolve without a crisis. And sometimes we're just handed a crisis and we have to evolve, right? So something will shake our tree at some point, right? And again, we can choose to evolve and grow even before that if we decide. So I love her take on that. She says it requires a failure of some system of power that we used to be able to rely on that failed, right? So maybe it's a person or a thing or a situation, something failed on us. And we're like, whoa, the rug just got pulled out. Hey, what does this mean? I'm paying attention, right? Help. Yeah. So the reason people awaken is because they finally stopped agreeing to things that insult their soul. So one of the questions you can ask yourself is, what am I tired of tolerating? If you want to do this more consciously, if you're in the middle of a crisis and you know you already have been shaken, just follow these 3 steps, right? But if you haven't, hey, notice, what are the things I'm tired of tolerating? That may be that nudging of your soul telling you, I'm tired of tolerating this. It can even be as simple as tired of tolerating not exercising, tired of tolerating not enough sleep, tired of tolerating not enough support, trying to do it all on your own, whatever that is for you. Whatever those real needs were that we went over in that checklist, what do you want more of? There's your soulful self telling you. So I hope you took note. Good news, neuroplasticity. Love this, guys. We can create new pathways in the brain and the body and the heart all the time. It's not just when we're babies do we create new pathways in the brain and the body. I know that 0 to 9 months is supposed to be like, oh, all these new patterns, we're walking, we're there. We can do it now. We can do it now, guys. It's the ability of the nervous system to change its activity. And this is what I love. We were just talking about this in response to intrinsic. Remember the intrinsic needs? In response to intrinsic stimuli, how you relate to the self, and extrinsic stimuli. If you're in a good situation that's helping feed all this good stuff, you can create new neuroplasticity in the brain, the structure, the functions, the connections, and rewire yourself for this more whole sense of you, as opposed to that reactivity. And it feels great. My teacher used to say, our greatest act of creativity is continuously recreate ourselves. And I love that. I love that. So I'm sharing this with you. This is an old client. They give me permission to share this. This is just to inspire you. This client had a major accident, was on disability. Long story short, we did these 3 keys. We did these 3 steps that I share with you today. We worked through these things that she was going through. She said, when I saw you, I felt broken. Today, I feel healed. My soul feels whole, but forever learning. Isn't that great? Because we're curious little souls, right? I am excited about my future, in love with my present, and thankful for my past. And I've carried this card with me for years because I was so deeply touched by her words, and so thrilled that she could get to a place in her life beyond such tragedy that she had been in. So when we neglect our soul, Thomas More wrote about this, and I love this quote by Thomas More. He wrote a book called Care of the Soul years ago. I'm dating myself, I know. But he said, when the soul is neglected, it does not just go away. It appears as obsessions, addictions, violence, and loss of meaning. Obsessions, addictions, violence, and loss of meaning. So just notice, how does this disconnection affect you when you're not able to access those real needs, when you're not able to access those qualities, and when you're not able to bring them in, when you're lost in the drama? How does that affect you? And then what do you need? What do you need? What do you really need? These are some things I've seen over time that connect us to our soul, our higher nature, guys. Nature, get in nature. Something about nature. You look at that ocean, I'm telling you, you feel like, ooh, it's all good, right? Or prayer. Some people use prayer like a beautiful thing in their lives. Ritual. What do you do that brings out the sense of you that connects you to the world? How do you honor your emotions? These are ways that we heal and connect. If we don't allow ourselves to feel, we can't heal. I had a nun as my teacher in grad school, and she used to say to me, Shannon, if you don't feel, you don't heal. She would almost get her little ruler out, just pat me on the hand. And it's true. And she was like, your clients have to feel to heal. So we have to honor whatever emotion's there, guys, whatever emotion it is, honor it, love it, observe it, give it what it needs, and you'll feel more whole. I promise you. Even if you're mad, be mad, be good at being mad. Just be mad, right? Don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt yourself. Just be mad. And then go throw some eggs. I used to let my daughter throw eggs. She would hit a tree in the backyard. She would have her little temper tantrum and she'd be fine. She'd be good all over. And then she'd come back in and we'd play and have a great day. Movement. Do some moving. If we're too static and still, we get constricted and we don't feel that ability to feel more alive. I can't see what's behind here. So let me see if I can find this. Ah. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to see. I've got your camera in front of me and I can't see what's behind that. Can anyone read that over there beside movement? What is this? Can y'all see that? What does it say, Althea? Say it again.
Rest, R-E-S-T.
Rest. There you go. Rest. If we get deep rest, thank you. If we get deep rest, we heal. That deep, deep rest. They even did a study on people who were feeling suicidal. And when they learned how to deeply rest, they were able to, they just felt like they could tackle the world and they wanted to be here. When we don't get that deep rest, it really messes with our nervous system. Unconditional love for ourselves and others and situations. And that's a hard one, isn't it? We have conditions. We want conditions to look this way and be that way and have this way. And what happens is we will run into something at some point where we have to embrace unconditional love. And we don't even know why, but we will have to embrace it. Meditation and mindfulness. I'm trained in both of those. I use them daily and they are a game changer. They connect us to that wiser, larger self, and studies show over and over again how they reduce anxiety and depression on the daily. Deep listening to yourself and your body. If your body needs something, give it to it, guys. Your body is going to register. Do you love me or not? Your body's going to register this, okay, and feel safe or not safe because of how you're relating to it. Nurturing support. Getting that nurturing support. Connection with others and a higher power. And then deep healing processes. I think that's what that one says. Deep healing processes. Like some of the spiritual psychology work that I do, some trauma healing, EMDR, things like that. Those are things that as we clear out the old and move into the new, help us connect to our higher nature. Would you guys add any other things? Rest, Noah said. Yes, absolutely. Yes to all these. Yay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Would y'all add anything? Are there other things that help you connect to your higher nature or help you evolve? Community. I would put community on there. Healthy community. Let's put that on there. Healthy community, right? Where there's lots of studies on people who go to church or people who go to healthy healing support groups, live longer, have that sense of community and wellness. Music. Thank you. Of course, Althea, music. Yes, music, which enhances movement, which can enhances flow, the flow state. Even singing opens the heart, moves us out of trauma and moves us out of drama. Beautiful. Thank you, Althea. Dancing. You've got that right. Absolutely. Dance needs to be on there. We can dance our way into our soulful self and release that old trauma and drama. Dance it out. And then art practices. I love that. Yes, art practices. That's the creativity piece. Our soulful self is so creative. It is ridiculously creative. I think about like if we got, instead of getting stressed, what if we got creative? What would happen? Oh my gosh, could you imagine how beautiful the world? Yes, yes, beautiful. So one of the things I created, I want to share with y'all today, because I know that I can talk all night, we already run over time, is a program called Soul Shine. And it is about restoring, renewing, and reawakening your soul for you. And this is a monthly membership, and I have a holiday special happening now. So if you're not already in it, I know some of you guys already are, but if you're not already in it, I wanted to offer it to you tonight. This is a way you can kind of have some of these steps in your pocket to practice self-healing. And and I work every week developing new experiential exercises to give you each Sunday morning. So when you open up your email, you get something from me that helps you overcome a survival pattern, overcome drama, or overcome a trauma, and step into your best self. So that is why I created Soulshine. So let me just tell you a dash about it. And then I want to talk about our free giveaway, and then we'll have some time for questions. So every Sunday, like I said, you receive something from me. You either get a Reawakening Your Soul meditation, where you can open to new possibilities inside of yourself instead of being stuck in those old kind of, I'd like to think of like our survival patterns, like a horse. Remember seeing those horses that go around the circle in the big cities and they just plod along? Boom, 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 boom. Those are our survival patterns, okay? And when we're plodding along in our survival patterns, we're missing a whole world that might be there to inspire our inner self, right? And so noticing and deepening and opening to new possibilities. That's what these meditations help you do. I give you a soul shine reflection exercise each week, the next week, where you can reflect and reconnect to those real needs that I was just sharing with you. I'm creating transformational tune-ups. These are audios that I take you through and how to help you let go of a survival pattern and move into your more soulful self. And then the week 4 is an action step. We step into a new way of being, we become the change, and we respond from our best self instead of react. So I give you an energy activator and you make a commitment and you move. It's an accountability day. It's a day where you move and take action into these inner inspirations that you know are best for you and for where you need to be. So there's that. This gal did this program, and she was just saying, goes to all of it. Like I just said, it goes to the mind, emotions, the body, spirit. It goes deep. So this is what we're doing. We're going deep to rise higher. I like to say that. We're going deep to rise higher. You also will get mind, body, spirit strategies from me, for help you have more joy, abundance, and love. The more whole we feel, the more that mosaic we have put together and can access, the more abundant we are. And I've found this over and over and over again. Sometimes we'll do one healing piece with someone and they'll bring in one of those real needs, and then their abundance just opens up like that. It's crazy, y'all. I swear I've seen it over and over again. It's beautiful to see. So when we bring in all those mosaic of all those real needs and become more whole and can access that, we have more love. We're able to open our hearts. We feel love more and we stay more connected. And it helps us create that super highway so that we don't get lost in those old patterns of our conditioning from our past, our old trauma, or our old drama. Because it's time to move beyond those, right? So I will help guide you in this program, Soul Shine, to help get support and free from these toxic patterns. So it's only $17. So if you want to join, you can join today, or you can join in the next week. I'm going to be running this holiday special. And if you join by tomorrow, I'm going to throw you in the mix. If you were here tonight, only you guys that were here get this. Okay. So I'm taking a mental note of who's here. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot so I can give it to my gal. And if you sign up for Soul Shine, I'm going to put you in the drawing for a special gift for being here, as well as signing up. So that will happen. I'm going to draw this thing tomorrow at 12, and I'll show you what you're going to get. But anyway, this is the Soul Shine monthly membership. You can cancel anytime, and you can just try it out if you'd like. It will help you if you want to move beyond your drama and trauma. My friend Elizabeth makes these beautiful bracelets. And so she's made a Soul Shine bracelet. I actually have mine on tonight. And so I'm so excited about this bracelet. This is a $58 bracelet, y'all. But so anyway, she's a beautiful jewelry maker, and she makes all kinds of things. But if you're a guy, I'll give you something else if you don't want to wear this bracelet. If you're a gal and you win, you will get this bracelet. So I already have an idea for the guys. So if a guy wins, you will get another surprise giveaway. But this is something that we will be able to tell who signed up first for the Soul Shine. So just so you know, this is the surprise giveaway for signing up for Soul Shine by tomorrow at 12, if you want to join us. And I love this bracelet. It just represents how the sun's out, you've moved those clouds away, and you've really connected to that soulful self. Just love that image of the sun. So there's Soul Shine for you. Any questions on Soul Shine before we wrap up and go to Q&A about this monthly program that I've been doing I've been doing it for about 4 weeks now. It's brand new, guys. It's going really well. I'm very excited about it. Any questions on Soul Shine, on the drama, on the trauma? What you got? How long does it last? And is it ongoing? Yeah. Oh, it's ongoing. I'm going to be doing this sucker for a good year, if not more. And like I said, it's a monthly thing. I'm moving into live coaching as well. I'm going to start doing a live session probably towards the end of February. But right now, you're just getting the weekly emails and transformational exercises to help you stay above the drama and the trauma. Can you go over the monthly program again? Absolutely. So first you get your Reawakening the Soul meditation. Second week is your, let's see if I can remember it by heart. Your Soul Shine reflection, where you reflect on a part of you that's a survival pattern, and I give you some ways to work with that. Third week is an audio. It's a transformational tune-up that allows you to really up level your system so you can create an environment from the inside, right, that keeps you buoyed above the drama and the trauma and gives you a way to work with it. And then the fourth week is the energy activator. You take accountability, you take an action step, you're on it, you do it, right? That's that. Thank you, Marcel, for asking. I think I got them. Yeah. And it's $17 a month. You got it. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. It's really reasonable. It's just, I just wanted to help give access to people who didn't want to do therapy or wanted something in between therapy sessions to just help them buoy them up and help them continue to reprogram their system for less drama, less trauma, and these more soulful, self-expanded patterns. Because as we create that inner environment, we become it. We become it. It's beautiful. You tell I get excited about this. So I want you to know you are whole, abundant, powerful, and free. Oh, my assistant's going to kick my hiney if I don't do this. I'm supposed to put the link to register in the chat. So hold on one second. If you want to register, you see and I'm going to be doing these trainings as well each month, guys. And they're going to be a part of Soul Shine at some point. So that's also happening, which is so much fun. Okay, let me put this in the chat for you if you want to go check out Soul Shine. You are welcome, Noah. All right, there's the link to Soul Shine. You can get that in the chat. Okay, so I just want you to know as we wrap up, guys, you are whole, you are abundant, you are powerful, and you are free. You have everything in you to overcome this drama and trauma. I want you to hold your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your belly. I want you to thank yourself for showing up. I want you to take a long breath, breathing in and releasing. Thanking your higher self, your higher power for being there for you. Thanking all your survival patterns for getting you to this point. You made it. You made it despite the drama and the trauma. You made it. Giving yourself a lot of credit for being here today. Life is not easy sometimes. And as you feel ready, breathing deep into the ground, all the way to the heavens, down into the earth. Feeling that heart expansion. And then opening your eyes, coming back to the call. Wish we had more time to do a longer meditation, but hey, if you want that, you can do Soul Shine. Any questions? I would love to answer any questions on drama, trauma, your own things. Happy to do some and stay on as long as you guys have questions and are here. You're welcome to unmute yourself and just ask about a situation, or you're welcome to put it in the chat. But I am here for you. Make sure I got all the questions. Jerry, you're welcome, Jerry. Yes, there is a recording. I will send this out tomorrow. Thank you so much for asking. Any other questions I missed? Do I do EMDR? Yes, I do. Oh, you are so welcome, Kim. I am so happy that you were here. Yes, take these tools, go out into the world, use them. And if y'all have any questions for me or want to reach out, you can do that on my website or through my email. And I'm excited to see who gets their Soul Shine bracelet tomorrow. So, oh, thank you, Jason. I am so glad that you were here. Absolutely glad. All right. Oh, grateful to you too, sweetie. Oh, love you guys so much. Well, that's okay. Oh, hey, Christy. Thank you for being here. I love that. Oh, that's okay. I appreciate you being here so much. All right, guys. Well, I'm here to answer questions. I'll stay on just a couple more minutes. Those of you who feel like, hey, you've got your shinier soul already and you've got your information you need are welcome to go. And those of you who have questions, feel free to unmute or ask me on the chat and I'll hang out just a bit longer and we'll move forward. Any questions on the Soul Shine program, the monthly membership? You can also click that link and go to that if you want to read more about it. That's another way to get your questions answered. All right. Well, I appreciate you all being here so much. And open to new people. Yes, I am taking new clients, but it'll probably be towards the beginning of February. So, but set up a call with me. I have a scheduler on my website, and you can set up a call with me and I will talk with you and we'll decide if this is the best fit for you. And we will move forward if that's what we decide. And if you know me, you know how to reach me. So you know how to reach me. I'm so glad. Oh, grateful to you too, sweetie. All right, lovelies. All right. I've enjoyed being with you all so much. Thank you for being here to talk about drama and trauma and how we can connect with our most soulful self. Sending you my love. And I'm wishing for you guys all the peace and love and joy and safety and fullness of you that you can bring in. All right. Take good care, you all. All right. Bye.